Hey, y'all, Elise Smith here, and welcome to the Socially Awesome Podcast, where we empower mompreneurs to implement simple social media strategies into their businesses and elevate their online presence. I'm a mompreneur of three, an affiliate marketer, a network marketer, an influencer, a social media marketing agency owner, and your personal guru. I am here to give you tips, tricks, and tools that you need to build your social media business. Let's dive in. Hey, you guys, welcome back to the Socially Awesome channel. Elise Smith here. Excited today, a little nervous and excited to talk to you guys about a topic that will hit home for a lot of people. We are going to be talking about stop letting your why be your excuse in your business. And I see this so often. And if you don't know my story, you don't know how I got to be a full-time entrepreneur, check out the video that's on my Facebook page. You can always also DM me, but most of you know I have a child on the autism spectrum, which is why awesome is spelled the way it is. And that was the reason I had to get into business, but I've never allowed that to be an excuse. And this is something that you really have to keep a strong mindset around. And today, that's why I want to dig into, we all have our reasons why for starting and pursuing our businesses, but sometimes these are very reasons can become stumbling blocks. Like people really tend to let them get in the way. So let's explore how to turn those excuses around and drive our businesses forward. I know it's easier said than done, so stick with me until the end, but you guys, if you could do this and you can really turn that into the momentum that your business needs rather than an excuse, that's when you will start to see the results, my friend. So first and foremost, embracing your why. Every entrepreneur has a driving force behind their business, right? Their why. It could be financial freedom, making a positive impact. It could be having more time with your loved ones. Your why is your North Star, and it's so crucial for motivation. However, it's easy for your why to turn into an excuse for inaction. And that's why you have to remember and be so rooted in it. It should be a source of inspiration, not a crutch. And I say this from the heart because, as I told you, my son on the autism spectrum, I knew I had to leave my job to be more flexible for him. But I also knew I had to make an income because we couldn't go without it. So I had to use that as my North Star, my driving force, my motivation for me to get a business up and running and profitable as quick as possible. And it would be very easy for me, you guys, to sit here in the afternoons when they get home from school, when my kids get home from school. Sometimes my son's had a long day. He's so overstimulated. And it could be very easy for me to just say, you know what, I'm done for the day. I can't do anything else. He needs me, this and that. You can make all these excuses. And sometimes I do. Sometimes I have to unplug for my kids or my family, and I pick it back up the next day. But I've never said, well, I've got a kid with special needs and I just don't have time for a business. Never. Because all of my kids are the reason. But ultimately, my son getting a diagnosis was the push I needed to get over my fear, to be able to, go forward and propel forward and say, you know what, I can do this. So you really have to go through identifying those excuses. It's time to get real with yourself, right? What excuses are you making in the name of your why? Again, it would be very easy, and no one would probably ever say anything to me if I said, you know what, Caden has just had a rough day and I'm just not going to get this done today. Or, you know what, Caden's just not making the progress he needs and I just don't think this is working for me. It would be so easy and no one would ever probably say anything to me, right? Because no one ever wants to challenge your excuses. But you've really got to think, are you holding yourself back from taking risks or investing in your growth, stepping outside your comfort zone? It's essential to recognize when your why is becoming a barrier to your progress. And sometimes you're going to have to call yourself out on it because other people won't. Other people are too busy in their own excuses to call you out on yours. And this is why I strongly suggest to get a mentor within your business. Hire a coach. Get in a group coaching program. That's why I love the Social Success Academy so much. And you can find more information about that in the show notes. But I love it because I love being able to collaborate with other like-minded business owners and really hold each other accountable. And I love that they look to me
to hold them accountable. So I think that's really important to note. So how can we break free from the grip of our own excuses? And I'm going to give you a couple strategies because I'm really big on actionable steps, right? So number one, break down your goals, break down your why, break it down into smaller achievable goals. And this will help you, prevent you from feeling overwhelmed and allow you to make steady progress. I didn't go into this business saying I'm going to make 6 figures in 90 days. Now, you totally could. And girl, yes, you can. You sure can make 6 figures in 90 days. And it's kind of crazy to even say that out loud, coming from someone who never thought I'd make 6 figures in corporate for sure, but you absolutely can. But I came in and said, you know what? I am going to get 1 customer, and then I'm going to get 2, and then I'm going to get 3. And I broke it down so small that I wouldn't get overwhelmed and quit, because I have a history of being a hobbyist and quitting. Number 2 is accountability partners. Again, get you a mentor, get you a business bestie, get you a coach, guys. That is crucial. If I could give you one tip today, leave with that, okay? Number 3, you need a mindset shift. So many people out there don't do the mindset work. And I'll be honest, when I first got in a coaching program, I saw the first chapter was mindset, and I was like, oh my God, here I did. I went ahead and bought some woo-woo something or another, and this is just not going to work for me. And you know what? That was the whole problem in itself, was that I didn't want to dig into my fears. I didn't want to dig into, why I was scared to do this or what was holding me back. What were my limiting beliefs? I didn't want to know, you guys. So do that mindset work. Reframe your why as a source of empowerment. Instead of saying I can't do this because of my family, saying I'm doing this for my family. So I have to push through. Number 4, one of the most common excuses is fear of failure. We don't want to disappoint ourselves. We don't want to disappoint other people. But remember, failure is often the stepping stone to success. Don't let the fear of not living up to your why hold you back from even trying. I see this so often. There's so many women that I talk to on a daily basis in the DMs that are like, I want to get into digital marketing, but I don't know anything and I'm probably not going to be any good. Well, if you go into it saying I'm probably not going to be any good, you're right. You're probably not going to be any good. Whether you say you can or you can't, you're right. You got to go into it thinking, I can do this. I can learn, right? I can learn. Let that be your affirmation of the day. I can learn anything, okay? Because you can. You absolutely can learn a skill. And embracing that adaptability. So sometimes your initial why might evolve as your business progresses, right? So my initial why was the flexibility of needing the flexibility of Cadence therapy, right? I needed to be available at any point in time because at the time we were looking for therapies, they only had some in the middle of the day. And that wouldn't work for me working a 9 to 5. But now he's fully functioning in the school district. He doesn't do after school therapy anymore because he gets most of his services during school time. So that why is kind of changing for me. And it will always be rooted into having flexibility to be wherever I need to be with my kids. But I don't need to be available for 11 o'clock therapy anymore because we've got it worked into his day-to-day schedule. Now I'm more focused on having that time freedom to be able to travel and to be able to take my kids on 4, 5, 6 vacations a year if I want, or, being financially free. And if I need to take my grandma to the doctor today, I need to take a sick day, whatever that is, I have the flexibility to do that. So my why is evolving now. But before we wrap up, let's hear a little bit from your inner self. I want you to take 2 seconds right now and really sit with, what is your driving force? What pushed you to even get started? Or if you haven't started yet, what is your why? You need to take some time today, take some quiet time. Doesn't have to be a lot. 5 minutes is fine. But figure it out, write it down. Put it on a sticky note and put it on your forehead. Don't let your why become your excuse. All right, guys, so I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, as always, you could DM me. Anything I referenced today, you can find it in the show notes below. Make sure to take a screenshot of you listening to this, throw it in your stories, tag me at Elise1Smith, I'd love to share with my audience, and I love to hear your feedback. So the greatest compliment you can give is leaving a review. If you got any value out of today's episode, leave us a review, ask us questions. We love to be interactive with our listeners and find out what you want to know more about. So as always, guys, until next time, make it simple, make it social, and make it awesome.
Hey, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I'm Elise Smith, your host, and let me tell you how you can get a free social media audit from me. Make sure that your profile is optimized and you're ready to build. Take a screenshot of you listening to this episode, throw it in your stories and tag me. You can find my handle in the show notes. I will share it to my entire audience, and you will be entered to win one of the 5 free audits that I'll be doing every single month. Number 2, if you found any value out of this episode or any of my episodes at all, please feel free to leave a review. It is the best compliment you can give. Lastly, make sure you check out the link to get into my free community, Socially Awesome Entrepreneurs. It's in the show notes. We go live in there weekly with guest trainings and more. Until next time, make it simple, make it social, and make it awesome.